Hey guys, welcome to the final installment of the State of the Watch collection 2019/2020. I just kind of wanted to give a brief little introduction here. I made a New Year's resolution to purchase no watches in 2020, so these were purchased in 2019. I'm trying to kind of get away from the whole watch thing. I spend a lot of my time looking at watches, you guys know, and I feel like I'm neglecting some other aspects of my life, like my relationship with Christ. I want to build more on that in 2020 and do more stuff with the church and more stuff with my Bible. And, I constantly find myself thinking about watches, and that's not a bad thing. I just want to focus more on increasing my relationship with Jesus. So I told myself, no watch purchases in 2020. I'm still going to, send you guys Instagram stories. I'm still going to, send you guys watch videos on YouTube, that whole thing. But, ever since I met my wife, I've really increased my relationship with Christ, and I enjoy that, and I'm so thankful for my wife, and it's awesome. So don't get me wrong, I haven't bankrupted myself or financially screwed things up. It's not that, because all the watches I purchase are a couple $100 anyway. But my wife has allowed me to spend $1,800, probably more than that, over the past 3.5-4 years or whatever on watches, and I've been so fortunate to experience a lot of watches. But I feel like I'm just spending too much of my time with that, so I'm gonna take a step back in 2020 and make no watch purchases and see if that makes a difference. Anyway, jumping right into it, this towel was given to me by one of my patients whose son was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so this is an authentic Pittsburgh Steelers towel, if you ever see that on TV. But anyway, jumping into it, guys, the Thailand watch finally came. It took forever, spoiler alert. During that time I was waiting for it, I got on eBay. I saw another watch that I wanted. I made that purchase too. So this is actually a 2-watch video here. Both of these watches are under $100. Another spoiler alert. Both of these watches are the same brand. So let's just jump into it. They're vintage. The first one comes from eBay. It came from a dealer who specializes in these. It is from 1979, August, actually down to the month. And you guys always know I've wanted a Grand Seiko. So guess what? This is not a Grand Seiko because I don't have Grand Seiko money. Even a Grand Seiko from 1979 would still be quite expensive. But this thing is the closest that I could get to a Grand Seiko, and I love it to death. I'm having so much fun with this. It is the Seiko Quartz Type 2. So these puppies were being spit out in the 70s and 80s. They're almost like a Seiko 5, but not really, because it's quartz. But they made so many of them with so many different dials. I actually almost got one with a snowflake dial that the guy was selling, but it was more beat up than this, and I didn't want to start over and try to get it replaced. I wanted one that was in pretty good condition that also had an original clasp. If you see that Seiko clasp there, it is original. The band is all original. As you guys can see, this thing is so loosey-goosey, but it's so comfortable. Oh, it's fantastic. Look at that dial, you can kind of see. Case back. Of course it's pressed. For me, that's the closest you're gonna get to a Grand Seiko from 1979. I believe this is 18, this is about 35, so you guys know it's a small watch that I really enjoy. Kind of see, there's no lume on the dial. Got the sword hands. Keeps a pretty good time so far. Worst thing about it is this crown was so hard to set the date. God, it took me forever to set the date because the crown's so small. Let's show you guys on my wrist. looks so nice in person. 1979 in pretty good condition. I just had the AD clean the band, mostly. Okay, see how it wears. It's got like a box square shape. And that is it. Pretty simple. Wears well. I'm gonna take it back a little bit. You guys can see the vintage look that it has. The bracelet is extremely comfortable. Like I said, so far keeping good time. So that is kind of like my sporty vintage watch from 1979. I've always wanted to get a vintage watch, but I was scared to get like an automatic, because it's gonna be ridiculous to service it. But this shouldn't be too difficult to service if I ever need to, and just replace the battery, which the seller already did. And he sells a ton of these. This is all he has is like the Type 2 quartz and the King Seikos and all this other stuff. So they're all under $100. So runs great shape. Like I said, no loom, but all right, that is the first one. And the second one is, you guys already know, have always wanted a Rolex Datejust or a Day Date. And of course, I don't have that kind of money. But I do have Seiko Datejust money, which was under $100. Sam, this should be familiar. It's kind of like the watch you have, the one that says Baylor, that your grandfather wore to church and stuff. So this is the Seiko Day Date. It's also a Seiko quartz watch around the same time frame. You can tell by the class, Seiko quartz, which is really neat. That bad boy, the fluted bezel. This, you will not find another watch like. They don't make these anymore, this one or that one, but you won't find this model in this condition ever for under $100. All I did was had the AD kind of just clean the bracelet up a little bit, which they did. There were some scuffs on it, but nothing too bad. But the crystal's clean, dial's clean. You're just not gonna find. So, you're not gonna find a Seiko that looks like this. Like I said, this type, it is 36, and I believe these are 18. Quartz, obviously. Your two-tone. Love it. Always wanted a two-tone Rolex Datejust, and this is gonna do it for now. Oh, I love it. It's thin. It's fun. See if I can really get my wrist around here. Nice little gold sunburst dial there. Wears well. It's just as comfortable as the other one. Take it back for you guys a little bit. So there it is. Like I said, it's not mint, but it's in really good condition to be, from 80 era or whenever these were created. I'm not too sure about these, but that's definitely August of 1979. So I'll give you guys a side-by-side comparison of them. So I've got, a fun little dress-up watch, church watch or whatever, or hey, look at me. And then this one is just, I'll wear this one a lot. It feels so good, and it's more sporty. It's got a nice look to it, and they both have some pretty good weight for them to be vintage quartz. They're not light by any means. Obviously they're gonna rattle, but these bracelets, believe it or not, are better than the bracelets that you'll get today on a Seiko. They just may have had better quality back then. But that's kind of side by side there. See how thin the condition situation that it's in. These vintage watches. This one was bought from somebody in New York. Couldn't really tell if they were a seller, like they sold a ton of Seiko watches or not. I didn't look at their items, but this person did. But this person just had it and sold it, and I had to replace the battery on this one, got it cleaned in size, and then just got this one cleaned in size. But got a good deal, both under $100. So I'm done for a while. I think I'm good with my tuna patty and my chronograph and my digital watch and my Presley, and I think I am good. So guys, this is gonna be it for a while, man. I hope you enjoyed this video. Went a little bit long, but like I said, I had 2 watches to show you guys. And I will see you guys in February. All right. Peace out.